אשרי יושבי ביתך עוד יהללוך סלה, אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו, תהילה לדוד. ארומים חלום זכר אבטחה אביב חיינו. תהילת אדוני דבר פיו, יברך כל בשר שם קודשו לעולם ועד, ואנחנו נברך יה מעתה ועד עולם, הללויה.
This afternoon was the 11th of Shvat. Is the 12th of Shvat, and we recall the Lawrence Helicon, Betty Gluckstein, Shahruz Naharai, Mansurai Nazarian, Anna Niemark, Edward Newlander, Elmore Rosenthal, Israel Rosenwald, Dorothy Stein, and Mandel Tobman. Are there any other yortzites that were? Kaddish Shatom, the mourner's kaddish, is found on page 202. Yit kadal v'yit kadash shemed Abba. Bialma divrach chirute v'yamlich malchute v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru Yehe shmei Rabba mevarach leolam u'omei omaya Yit barach v'yish tabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh v'yit adar v'yit alev v'yit halal shemei dekudisha Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru, Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim malenu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, alenu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. We're about to begin the Kabbalat Shabbat Service, and this evening I have the pleasure, I think for the first time, of introducing a relative to lead the Kabbalat Shabbat Service. I don't think I've ever had that chance before. I mean, your grandfather and my father was here and he spoke and I got a chance to introduce him, but I never got a chance to introduce my niece, who is Rabbi Ariel Wolpe, who leads a community in Atlanta, who graduated from Emory with lots of honors that she doesn't mention in her biography, but I will speak to her father about adjusting that. and together with her husband, John, and of course their two adorable children, live in Atlanta, and there she leads a community called Ma'alot of seekers and spiritual creative artists, and I am delighted to have her. She has recorded 2 albums and is working on a 3rd. I'm delighted to have her and her music here at Sinai Temple for this Shabbat. So, Ariel, take it away.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Tonight and share some Torah and sorry, gonna need to. Here we go. Shabbat Shalom to everyone who's here and everyone on Zoom. It's such a pleasure to be here and to share some Torah and some of my style of davening, give you a little taste. So I am a rabbi and a musician and an outdoors woman, and I'm also a mother. And I was thinking today about the moment my 2-year-old started to talk, and one of the first things that she began requesting of me was to kiss things. So she'd come up to me and she'd say, "Kiss my hand." She'd come up to me and she'd say, "Kiss Abba, kiss Dad." And I realized that she felt like everything around her was beloved. That her wrist, that random objects in the house that she'd asked me to kiss, everything was beloved. And I want to invite each of you to enter into that mindset of a 2-year-old as we begin our Kabbalat Shabbat service with Yadid Nefesh, beloved of the soul. What would it be like for you to enter into Shabbat feeling like you are beloved? You all do a lot this week, right? There's a lot that draws on your attention and your needs. I'm sure that everyone here has worked really hard and you deserve a break and you deserve some loving care, and you can send that to yourself. So as we sing through the verses of Yadid Nefesh, return to that feeling of seeing yourself as beloved. And I hope you'll join in.
Yadid Nefesh can be found on page 10.
Yadid Nefesh Av HaRachaman Meshochaftav El Retzona Yarosaftav Kemo There's this one moment when my paper fell down and I stopped playing guitar, and then I could actually hear all of you singing for a moment. And I was like, wow, that's really beautiful, all of your voices. We really need to all sing to uplift prayer and song. And your voices are all welcome here, no matter what you're offering, if it's just a yai-dai-dai or just a hum. This next tune for Lecha Dodi is probably new to many of you, but I hope you'll join in with me. And actually, the invitation is to join in at the end of the phrase with an ah. Can I hear y'all sing an ah? Ah. That was nice. That was like a breath. Ah. Actually, I think we might need that. Let's all just do an ah breath. Ready? Ah. One breath out for the week. We'll do one more breath, bringing in peace into this space. And then wherever you need to soften inside of yourself, wherever you need to feel a little more belovedness in you, breathe into that with one more breath.
Lecha is on page 11.
Lecha Dodi Ladonai Nariah Litzor Yishaynu. No ew? Nekad mafanav v'todah bizmirot nariah lo yalai Join in on, if you know the melody, you can join in on the melody this time. Lecha Dodi Ladonai Nariah Litzor Yishaynu Nekad mafanav b'todah bizmirot Ariel, hay, 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 Beautiful. I lived in Los Angeles for 5 years. Now I lived in Atlanta. I went to rabbinical school here. And I grew up on the East Coast, and one of the things I loved about California was the weather, of course. But what I grew to love living in Los Angeles was the feeling when it finally rained. I never liked it when it rained as a child because it was usually cold and I was ill-prepared. And then I lived in the desert for 5 years, and I grew this deep appreciation of rain. And there's this beautiful description in BiShvat Rabbi about the second day of creation when the waters are separated, that ever since that moment, they have been yearning to reunite the waters of the heavens and the waters of the earth. And I began to feel that experience if I'd go out right before it would rain, this palpable yearning, like they're about to reunite. I don't know if you've ever felt this in the air. It's like, I don't know if it's air pressure, if that's like the scientific reason for it, but there's this tension that's then resolved. And such beautiful things happen when it rains too. We all go inside. If we have a partner, we might have fun with that partner, make some babies. The animals too, everyone's kind of cuddled up. It's this generative time of unification. I went for a walk on the beach this morning and I thought about how when we go into the water, whether it's in a mikveh or in the ocean, we are enacting that same unification because we are filled with water ourselves. And that we can feel that connection to the divine and our own place in creation in those moments. So I want to call in that power of water with the song Yismechu. Give me a page number. Yeah.
We're on page 14 at the red triangle, Yismechu Hashamayim.
Thank you. Which is about the depths of the sea, the depths of the water, calling out their thunder, which can come from each one of us. We are all drops of water, part of this community, this communal sea. We can sing out our thunder and unify. Another new tune, I hope you'll join in. Yiram hayamum lo, 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 yiram hayamum lo. Try that. Yiram hayamum lo, 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 yiram hayamum lo. Yismechu Hashamayim v'tagel haaretz. Yismechu Hashamayim v'tagel haaretz. From the depths. Yiram hayamum lo, yiram hayamum lo, Yiram Hayam Umlo, 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 Yismechu Hashamayim V'tagel haaretz, Yismechu Hashamayim V'tagel haaretz. There is a really special birthday happening today, and I'd like to welcome up the birthday boy, Eli, right?
Come on up, Eli.
Eli, to lead us in Romemu, right up there.
Eli is turning 11, and he reached out to me and he said, you know what, Cantor, for my birthday, I want to lead a prayer at Sinai Temple for my birthday. Is that okay?
My kind of guy.
Absolutely. Come on up, Eli. Thank you, Eli.
Yesher Koach.
Happy birthday.
I'd sing happy birthday, but I won't embarrass you. On Friday night, we welcome in the Shabbat Queen by lighting the candles and making Kiddush. And when we sing Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, we're welcoming each other to welcome in the Shabbat Queen. In my home, we make this invitation very explicit by going to the door and singing Lecha Dodi as we open the door and welcome in the spirit of Shabbat into our home. It's my children's favorite moment. My 4-year-old will sometimes say, "She's running down the street." And she'll always go outside. And there's something powerful about changing the environment for a moment to bring in Shabbat, to feel the air coming in and maybe feel a little more physically that something is changing inside of our home. Shabbat is actually arriving that moment along with her angels that will settle around the table for Shalom Aleichem. And we're so eager to bring in Shabbat and to feel like it's Shabbat because it's a day of rest, and that's hard to get during the week. I have a lot to do with 2 little ones and work and all of the things that fill my life, and it's hard for me to slow down. So I need these rituals, I need these steps to feel like I can take a break, to give myself permission. And I'm wondering what each of you feel like you need more permission for in your Shabbat. Where do you need permission to lay things down? Where do you need permission to bring in a little more shalem, a little more wholeness, and a little more shalom, a little more peace into your Friday evening? Just call it to your mind and hold it in your heart. And each time we go through a verse and go back to Lecha Dodi, come back to that need where you need a little more in your life. Because part of what these rituals are for is to help us to grow and to fill our life with modes of being that nourish and empower us. As we sing Lecha Dodi, we welcome in the Shabbos bride, and we ask her, help us to bring more awareness to these needs of ours and to see how we can meet these needs in our lives, how we can bring more blessing.
Lecha Dodi can be found on page 23.
Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibor echad, Hishmi'anu el amiyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem u'v'iferet v'litchila la 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 la. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Likrat Shabbat, lechu v'nelcha, hi mekor habracha, merosh miketem nesucha, sof ma'aseh v'machshava tchila la 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 la. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Mikdash melech ir melucha, kum mitzehi mitof ha'afecha, rav lech shevet be'emek ha'bacha, ve'hu yachmol alaychem la 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 la. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela.
Page 25, the last verse, Bo'i v'shalom.
Bo'i v'shalom, atzeret bala, gam besimcha u'v'tzola, toch emunei am segula. Bo'i chala, Bo'i chala. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. 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 nekabela.
Maybe seated.
There is a holiday coming up, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. But I just want to bring it in for this last prayer of Kabbalat Shabbat. Tzadika Tamar. The Jewish people, the sages say, are like a grove of trees. We're connected by our roots, and we form a strong foundation. And wisdom flows between us. We are very much like trees, and during this month of Shvat, we are reminded that like trees, we are a pillar between earth and sky. And like trees, we hold intimate relationships with beings of all kinds. And our bodies are a tree of life, and Eitz Chaim, just like the Torah is. Just like that tree in the Garden of Eden, we are an infinite source of wisdom, constantly returning and reconnecting with our source. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah says, one whose deeds exceed his wisdom, what is he like? Like a tree, whose branches are few but whose roots are many. He says, even if all the winds of the world come and blow, it will not move from its place. And this is the wisdom of Psalm 92, which says, the righteous among us will flourish like palm trees, will grow tall cedars in Lebanon, and even in old age they will bear fruit, full of green and of vigor. Tzadika Tamar yifrach ke'erez balvanon yiskeh shetulim bevet Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenuvom beseva deshenim verananim yehiyu lehagid ki yashar Adonai Suri velo avlatabo. Now for a little bit of Torah. Don't worry, just a minute. So as I mentioned a second ago, BiShvat is this week. It starts on Monday night. And it is a holiday of the trees. In ancient days, it was a way to mark the exact age of trees, so Jewish farmers would know when they should bring their offerings, their fourth-year offerings to the temple. But after the destruction of the temple, when we lost Israel, we lost our orchards, this practice disappeared until it was revived centuries later by the Kabbalists of Tzvat in the 16th century. And they created a new thing rooted in this ancient calendar moment. They base it off of the Passover Seder and called it the BiShvat Seder. It's also divided into 4 sections with 4 cups of wine. We eat grains and fruits and nuts from trees that grow in the land of Israel. And we explore our mystical relationship with trees, with the divine, and with ourselves. Like so many practices in Judaism, BiShvat reminds us that our traditions evolve. A sacred moment in our calendar that used to mark Something happening in the fields now happens around the table. Instead of journeying for miles to bring an offering to the temple, we set out dishes and invite our neighbors to eat, and we enjoy the fruits of our ancestors. We enjoy the fruits of our ancestors' resiliency and creativity in continuing this tradition despite catastrophe. The same is true of Shabbat. The temple offerings became the table offerings. The two chalot, two challahs on your table, are your offering on Shabbat. So every time you say hamotzi, you are affirming the resiliency and the unlimited creativity of our people. I love our tradition's invitation to creativity. I am someone that loves to play, to explore what is given to me and make it my own. As a child, I was always like this, creating new songs, new craft projects, making new gardens in my yard, which my mom really didn't like. But it's because I really need to see myself in the practices that I do. I really need to feel like things I'm doing are helping me come alive. That my heart is in it when I do mitzvot, that my heart is in it when I say a blessing. There is a story, which I know the other Rabbi Wolpe likes, about a child who keeps running off during services. And their parent follows them, and they're out in the woods. And they find them and say, "Why are you running off in services? Come and pray with the community." And the child says, I need to come here to pray to God. This is where I connect with prayer. And the parent says, "Well, don't you know that God is the same everywhere? You can find God everywhere." And the child says, "Yes, I know that God is the same everywhere, but I'm not." And that is a task that the teachers and the children of Judaism have been charged with since the beginning, to find ourselves in our tradition. And if that's not working, if you're looking through this book, or you're looking around the room and you don't see yourself in it, then go out and find yourself. Find a place where you feel like you are alive and bring your prayer there. Find a place where you can express your voice, where you can find a path into your own soul and bring your Judaism to that. Part of my role as a rabbi who's also a mother and an outdoorsy person and an artist is to show others and empower others in the Jewish community to take creative ownership over the pieces of our tradition that are asking for evolution. And how powerful is it to have a holiday of trees whose meaning has evolved so dramatically over the centuries. And today is a time to dedicate and plant trees, to consider our ecological impact, to connect with the land of Israel, which may feel far away from us, by tasting its nuts and fruits, and to deepen our understanding of our relationship to the trees around us. When our ancestors would pick fruit from their orchard to bring to the temple, with each reach, they're reenacting the oldest story we have of Adam and Chava reaching into the tree, picking the fruit of knowledge. This is the first relationship we have recorded between a tree and an earthling. And don't for a minute think that this tree did not know what was going on. Okay, the Psalms say that the trees sing praises to God, and this was a tree of knowledge. She gifted wisdom to her ancestors, and her descendants continue to offer us wisdom. They are the most important, the most regenerative part of our ecosystem. They show us how to care for each other, how to protect the environment, how to slow down, how to utilize scarce resources, how to hold ourselves up while supporting those around us, and so much more. So it's up to you, I think, what Tu BiShvat means and what it looks like today. Maybe it's actually a time to leave the Seder table and go back to the orchard. Perhaps it is a time for us to taste the wisdom of the trees and explore how we can be more like them. In this week's Parsha, Moses casts a piece of a tree into mayim mara, into bitter water, and it turns sweet. Moses and the tree together have this power to sustain and nourish the community and survive in the desert. We too each have a creative power to turn the bitter waters sweet. Our power lies in our creativity and our willingness to bring our traditions and our beliefs into direct contact with the things that make us alive, that truly mean something to us. We may look for answers, for inspiration among the trees or among the ocean or into the faces of our children or our beloved. There might be answers there. What I believe is that each one of us is a channel for creativity, for God's creativity. And if our heart is in it, like the trees, we will continue to flourish and bear fruit. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We want to truly thank Rabbi Wolpe for her spirit, her teachings, and for being here and helping us celebrate. This week is Shabbat Shira, the Sabbath of Song, and I couldn't think of a better way for us to celebrate that than by having Rabbi Wolpe as our artist in residence. So thank you so much. We turn ahead to our evening service, page 39a. Please rise.
Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Leolam Vahed. You may be seated. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Umavir yom umevi layla, mavdir ben yom uvein layla, Adonai tzavaot shemo el chai v'kayam, tamid imloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai amari v'aravim. Page 40. Avat olam beit Yisrael amcha, avat olam כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו והם נגע יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. It's my honor to invite to the bima Maddie Koken, who's going to be our bat mitzvah tomorrow, to lead us in Shman Ve'ahavta. We are on page 41.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodeha. Ve'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi metzaveha hayom al levaveha ve'shinantam levanecha ve'dibarta bam be'shivtecha bevetecha u'lechtecha v'adered u'shochbecha u'vkumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha Ve'hayu letotafot bein einecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha.
We continue privately on page 42.
Leman tiskeru ve'asitem et kol mitzvotai ve'item kedoshim le'elohehem ani Adonai Elohehem asher hotzeiti ethem me'eretz Mitzrayim lichot lahem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohehem emet.
Yasher Koach to Maddie. She can go back to her seat. We'll invite her up a little bit later. Adonai Elohechem emet. We continue privately on page 43.
Page 44. ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם, משה מרים ובני ישראל הכנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולה. בקודש נורא נורא, נורא תהילות עושי פלא. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש נורא נורא, נורא תהילות עושי פלא. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקי הים לפני משה, זני זני ענו ואמרו. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש נורא נורא, נורא תהילות עושי פלא. אדוני מלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש נורא נורא, נורא תהילות עושי פלא, עושי פלא, עושי פלא. ונאמר כי פרעה את יעקב, יהלום יד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Our evening prayer for peace, the Hashkivenu, can be found on page 45. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, vehamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, vehamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Usmor tzeiteinu uvoeinu, lechaim ushalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, vehamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, vehamidenu malkeinu lechaim. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. We rise, page 46, as we join together in Veshamru. Veshamru bnei Yisrael et השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ואמר יברא קירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב וימרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיים. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשם, בריחו לעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתם, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירם בעלמא וימרו, amen. The Amidah for Friday night is recited privately, pages 47 through 52. If you're still praying your Amidah, please continue at your own pace. Our service continues on page 53 at the top. ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון קונה שמיים בארץ, מגן אבות בדברו, מחיי מתים במאמרו, האל הקדוש אין כמוהו, המניח לעמו ביום שבת קודשו, כי בם רצה להניח להם, כי בם רצה להניח להם, לפניו נעבוד ביראה ופחד, ונודה לי שמו בכל יום תמיד מעון הברכות. אל ההודעות אדון השלום, מקדש השבת ומברך שבי, ומניח בקדושה לעמדו שני עונג, זכר למעשה וראשית. 54. אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו רצי ומנוחתנו, קדשנו במצוותיך ותן חלקנו בתורתך, סבנו מטובך ושמחנו בישועתך, וטהר ליבנו לעובדך, לעובדך, לעובדך באמת, וטהר ליבנו לעובדך, לעובדך, לעובדך באמת. והנחילנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה וברצון שבת קודשך, וינוחו בישראל מקדשי שמך, ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ואמר יברא קירותי ומלכותי בחייכון ובמחול ובחייך בית ישראל, בעגלה בזמן קריב והימרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתנועם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתלש מלכותו, בריחו לעילם מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תשבחתם נחמתה דמינה מאמה והימרו, אמן. תתקבל צלותון ומלכות כל ישראל קודם עוון לשמע והימרו, אמן. יהי שלמה רבה משמע וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל והימרו, אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל והימרו, amen.
We're now going to actually have Maddie, your parents are going to pour the California wonderful grade A grape juice. And we're going to have Maddie come up to lead us in Kiddush, which can be found on page 55. Just one, yeah. And you guys can all join us here on the Bima.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'atzavanu, b'shabbat kodshecho be'achava uvratzon kinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh bereshit, ki hu yom tefillah lemikroi kodesh, zecher letzias mitzrayim, ki lanu b'chata ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim, ve'shabbat kodshecho be'achava u'beratzon kinhaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Leinu leshabeach la'adon hakol,
לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Ushkina tizot legorei merogi Eloheinu Eino and et malkeinu et bezulato hakatuv betorato ve'adat hayom v'chasata elevavecha Adonai hu ha'Elohim b'shamayim v'ima'al v'haaretz v'al haaretz v'yitrach
Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo
Kiddush and Aleinu. If you're not in a period of mourning or observing a yahrzeit, you may be seated. Mourner's kaddish can be found on page 58. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei Rabba be'alma divrach hirute v'yamlich malchute b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael b'agala u'vizman kari v'imru Amen Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach le'alam u'lamei almaya Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh v'yit hadar v'yit ale v'yit halal shemei dekudsha brichu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. We want to once again thank Rabbi Wolpe for her presence, and we'll probably end with Shalom Aleichem if you want to help us lead. That sounds great. Thank you. And we want, of course, say Mazal Tov to Maddie and the entire Kogan family and clan. Wish her a Mazal Tov on her Bat Mitzvah, which will be tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. sharp in the Ziegler Sanctuary. We look forward to having everyone join us for services. And we're here every weekday morning, 7:30 a.m., 5:45 p.m. in the afternoon. And we will conclude with Shalom Aleichem. We invite everyone to rise.
Do you want to tell them the page song? Because I don't know.
We have two options. I think it's 5 or 73. We'll go with 5. I know it's there for sure.
We're testing Cantor Marcus's
We're testing me.
Love Shalom memory. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashavet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Leshalom Malachei השלום, מלאכי העליון. ממלך מלאכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי העליון. ממלך מלאכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. תכן לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי העליון. ממלך מלאכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.